Hello friends. How are you all? I hope you're having great day. So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Naruto was Omni God. The god above all the good. This is a crossover between Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. Here is the quick summary. Goku and his friends were shocked to learn there were gods above the destroyers like Beerus, but even more shocked when there are powers above them. This is OP Naruto. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also like this video. Also share this video with your friends. Now let's back to the video. Despite all bets against him, somehow Monaka had seemingly without any real fighting defeated the mighty Hit in the final round, winning the Tournament of Destroyers for Universe 7. The tournament was a petty grudge match between Universe 7 God of Destruction Beerus and Universe 6 God of Destruction Champa, who happened to be twin brothers. You did a half-assed decent job, team. Beerus set a bored and lazy tone towards his assembled team, while Goku looked worried at Team Universe 6, who had an annoyed destroyer yelling at them. Hey Beerus-sama, what will happen to Hit and the others? Champa-sama seems pretty mad. Goku asked nervously as Vegeta also looked a bit concerned. Who cares? You should take your win and forget what happens to other universes. Beerus replied in an uncaring tone as Champa voice could be heard now. You weaklings. You have cost me my Super Dragon Balls which I scoured the universes to find. Now prepare to be destroyed. Time skip, Super Saiyan, it doesn't matter. Champa yelled angrily as he raised his hand towards his terrified team. Goku was about to rush in to try to save his new friends, but Beerus' words made him stop. Go ahead Goku, try and save them. All you need to do is beat a destroyer, no problem, right? Beerus told him in a mocking voice as Goku stopped, knowing it would be impossible for him right now to defeat a god of destruction. Goku's various Earthling friends and family including Krillin, Bulma, Chi-Chi, Goten, Trunks, Roshi, Jaco and Oolong were completely silent, not wishing for Beerus to get mad at them. Piccolo knew this was a fight they could not win, sent a stare to Goku who frowned but stood still as Champa prepared Hakai energy in his hand. Angels Whis and Vado saw back on the tournament stage 4 being standing patiently, making their eyes widened. Vados turned to Champa and said urgently, Champa-sama, there is something we need to discuss. Champa glared at his angel attendant and yelled, Vados, can't you see I am busy right now? Beerus-sama, you need to look down there. Whis meanwhile said to Beerus, who was stretching his limbs in boredom. Whis, be quiet. I am about to see some destroying. Beerus replied in annoyance. I must insist, my lord. Whis and Vado said with a louder pitch, finally getting their destroyer's attention. What? Beerus and Champa said at the same time. In response, the angels pointed to the arena where one small figure in particular caught their attentions. Zeno-sama, Beerus and Champa shouted as they instantly turned white in terror. My lords, are you sure you want to keep the Omni King waiting? Vados asked with some amusement as Beerus and Champa woke up and gestured to the Supreme Case to come down. From the 7th universe, the Supreme Case Shin and Elder Kai along with Kibito flew down from the stands to join Champa and Beerus on the arena. From the 6th universe, Fuwa the Supreme Kai also flew and got on the floor. Whis and Vados being angels bowed at the hip while destroyer gods Champa and Beerus got on their knees and Supreme Case were on their hands and knees, showing the relative pecking order for deities. Zeno-sama. Grand Minister, such an honor to see you both on such a wonderful day. Beerus said in a shockingly polite tone of voice while still on his knees. AN2. Hi. Zeno said with a wave. Zeno was an extremely short being with an odd oval-shaped head. His skin was blue, but the edges of his head were purple. Hello to you two, Destroyer, Beerus and Champa. Grand Minister said with a polite voice and smile which if anything made Champa and Beerus even more nervous. The Grand Minister looked similar to the angels Whis and Vados with blue skin and a halo coming from his head. Whis and Vados, it is nice to see you as well. The Grand Minister added as both angels nodded their head in respect to their father superior. May I ask why the Grand Minister and Zeno-sama have come here today? It is a rare treat for us to see you outside your palace. Vados asked with a smile as Zeno looked around. It looks like you had a tournament here. Zeno remarked as Champa and Beerus started sweating. Must I remind you it is forbidden to two destroyers to fight each other without Zeno-sama express permission? The Grand Minister asked with a frown. Whis decided to speak and possibly save his god's existence, of course. This tournament was between mortals from Universe 6 and 7. Whis explained as Zeno started to look excited. Explain. Zeno demanded with excited eyes. Of course, my lord. Whis replied as he started to explain the details of the tournament and the prize, the Super Dragon Balls. After the explanation, Zeno looked excited and said, sounds fun. I was here to see if the gods of destruction were doing their jobs, but instead, I get to hear about a cool tournament. Before Champa and Beerus could sigh a breath of relief, however, the Grand Minister decided to ask Whis, Vados, are your destroyers doing their jobs correctly? Vados took a tissue from somewhere and said in a dramatic and sad tone of voice, I wish, my lord. Champa-sama is more concerned with eating and getting fat than destroying. He even ignores my advice from a diet that could help him. Vados completed this with some fake sniffles. Damn it, Vados. Champa swore to himself with sweat coming down his back. Beerus-sama has been sleeping more than destroying my lords. He rarely wakes up enough to destroy properly. Whis claimed as he sighed for dramatic effects. Damn it, Whis. Beerus thought, fearing for his existence. Maybe I should get new gods. Zeno said thoughtfully as Champa and Beerus prepared to beg for their positions and likely lives. Just kidding. Zeno exclaimed with a smile as the destroyers looked ready to pass out from joy. Very well put, Zeno-sama. The Grand Minister said with a clap as Zeno's guards also clapped as everyone let a small sigh of relief. I don't quite know what is going on but sounds like it is fun. Goku said cheerfully as everyone from the bleachers flew towards her was carried onto the floor. If Beerus and Champa were not on their knees they would have glared and threatened Goku and his friends for being so informal in the presence of the king of everything. Zeno's guards went in front of Zeno protectively until Zeno himself waved them off with a curious tilt of his head. Who is this? The Grand Minister asked with a raised eyebrow as Whis coughed to get everyone attention. Forgive them, my lord. They are not aware of the deities above the gods of destruction. These are the warriors that fought in the tournament from Universe 6 and 7. Whis said as he introduced each person briefly to Zeno and the Grand Minister as the Supreme Case wanted more than anything to get them to bow, but would not get up out of fear for being disrespectful. Goku looked around confused seeing all the gods still bowing so deep, so he decided to ask Whis-san, Beerus-sama, who are these guys? As the Grand Minister raised an eyebrow at Goku's informal attitude. Forgive him, Grand Minister. He doesn't know any better. Shin pleased as the Grand Minister waved him off. It is quite alright. Goku-san, this is the Zeno-sama, the king of everything. He ranks above every deity in existence and I am his right-hand man. You may call me the Grand Minister or Grand Priest. The Grand Minister explained as everyone but Goku quickly realized that they were in the presence of the most important beings in the multiverse. They quickly got on their knees. Kakarot. Get on your knees now. He is Beerus-sama, boss. Vegeta hissed as Goku eyes widened before he hastily got on his knees. Wow, you were the guys who turned blue and you like stop time. Zeno said excitedly pointing at Goku, Vegeta and Hit respectively. Goku had a grin on his face, while Vegeta and Hit had stoic expressions. My lord, may I suggest we talk about the Super Dragon Balls? The Grand Priest asked politely. Zeno frowned but then said fine. Thank you, my lord. The Grand Priest said with a bow. According to the rules set up as Super Dragon Balls will go to Universe 7 for winning the Tournament of Destroyers. The Grand Priest announced. Boss Champa hissed and Beerus smirked. Now before we allow you to use the wish, may I ask what Beerus-san of Universe 7 wish will be? The Grand Priest asked patiently as Beerus stuttered. Before Beerus could say another word, a voice behind everyone asked loudly, might I pitch in? Instantly the Grand Priest, Whis and Vados were in front of Zeno protectively as the Grand Priest asked, who goes there? Me, of course. The voice answered as everyone saw what appeared to swirl in the air as a man slowly appeared out of it. It was a tall blonde-haired man with whiskers wearing a fancy jacket that said 7th on his back. He briefly had red eyes with ripples on 3 layers and tomos on each layer before they turned into sky blue eyes. His spiky blonde hair instantly drew attention as he gave a warm smile. Picture Hokage Naruto with longer spiky hair. Who is this man? I cannot sense any Kai coming from him at all. It is almost like he is Zeno-sama or that Grand Priest. Vegeta thought furiously as he could sense to an extent how far above Beerus and Whis were above him, but he could not sense at all the newcomer Kai at all. Seeing the confused and even hostile look sent his way, the blonde frowned as he whined, geez, I can't believe nobody recognizes me. Then before everyone's eyes, he disappeared only for everyone to hear several thunderous blows as they turned around to see the blonde holding Whis and Vados' staffs in his hands with a smile. Around the 3 of them were massive dents in the floor as if it was carved out by punches. Nice to see you two have kept your strength up. The blonde said, a proud smile as Vados and Whis' eyes widened. Bunny-san. These movements and presence. Whis said with hope in his voice. It could only be. Vados whispered at the point of tears. Meanwhile Goku asked Hit in amazement, I couldn't see their movements at all. Did he stop time like you do, Hit? No, with my time skip I have been able to sense distortions in time itself when I am near, and yet there was none. He was there and suddenly not. Hit explained with his eyes widened in shock. I don't think any of us saw him move, and judging by their shocked expressions not even Champa-sama or Beerus-sama did either. Kaba from Universe 6 noted as both Beerus and Champa had their jaws wide open. Before any more speculation could occur, a loud voice from Zeno broke the ice. Naruto. You are back. Zeno exclaimed in pure happiness as he leapt forward. Naruto let go of the angel's staffs and opened his arms, putting the excited Omni King on his shoulder as he replied, sure, Zeno. Have you had fun since I was gone? Naruto asked kindly as Zeno pouted. No. It has been so boring. Zeno whined as Naruto chuckled. Well, I will try to make up for lost time. Naruto promised as Zeno laughed as everyone besides the angel's jaws dropped at the blonde familiar attitude towards the king of everything. Who does this mortal think he is? This is the Omni King himself. Champa grumbled, unable to believe anyone could show such disrespect to the god above all gods. Sheesh, today is full of surprises. First, we find out there are gods above destroyers, and now this blonde who looks no older than Goku or Vegeta is treating the king of gods like a friend. I need a nap after all his is done. Rashi summarized as his friends chuckled nervously. Thank you for taking care of Zeno for me while I was gone, Grand Priest, Naruto said in amusement and gratefulness as the Grand Priest chuckled. Only Naruto, Zeno and the other angels knew his true name, which not even destroyers or Supreme Case were privy to that information. Naruto swung Zeno around as everyone was on the brink of a nervous breakthrough. Of course. It is my job after all. The Grand Priest said matter-of-factly as Whis and Vados nervously walked towards Naruto. Hello Whis, Vados. It has been far too long. Naruto said with regret as Whis bowed deeply and Vados threw herself into Naruto's chest, burying her face into his chest, much to the sheer shock of everyone. I thought you would never come back. Vados cried as Naruto released Zeno, who floated back to the Grand Priest. Naruto then wrapped his arms around the female angel, petting her head softly as she sobbed for a bit. I am sorry for leaving. I thought I could leave things to you and the others, but now I am back for good. Naruto promised as Vados dried her tears and pulled back. Champa wanted desperately to ask who this man was to get such an emotional reaction from his angel and to get such familiar response from the Grand Priest and Omni King himself. However, he dare not rise without the permission of the Omni King himself. Naruto frowned at how stiff everyone was and gestured with his hand for them to rise, and Zeno and the Grand Priest nodded. You may all rise. The Grand Priest announced as everyone slowly rose to their feet. Grand Priest Sama, who is this man? Champa asked with pure politeness as Vados gave him a glare making him shudder. The Grand Priest was about to answer, but Naruto raised his hand. I might as well tell everyone, so we might as wait for everyone to show up. Zeno nodded his head happily. Very well. The Grand Priest nodded in acknowledgement. The gods were shocked beyond belief that somebody could command so much respect that both the Grand Priest and Zeno themselves would take his request seriously. Now about the Super Dragon Balls. The Grand Priest frowned. How about this? From what I can understand, Champa wants an Earth in his universe, so he started this tournament, correct? Naruto asked as Champa nodded furiously when the Grand Priest turned his attention to him. How about I use the wish so Champa can have his Earth restored? Naruto suggested as Champa eyes widened while Beerus grit his teeth. In exchange, Champa must make a promise never to attack planets in the 7th universe or threaten anyone in Beerus's domain. Naruto suggested as Zeno and the Grand Priest looked thoughtful. Who is this guy? This is like the perfect wish, so we won't have to worry about Champa anymore. Bulma thought with wide eyes. That sounds great to me. Zeno said in excitement. Yes, that sounds like a great compromise. Any objections? Champa-san? Beerus-san? The Grand Priest asked as the gods in question shook their heads furiously. Very well, now to make the wish in question. Naruto announced as Bulma eyes widened and she meekly raised her hand. Yes, miss? Naruto asked with a quirked eyebrow. Bulma brief Sir, Bulma said cautiously as A seemed to be on equal footing with the gods. Seeing him nod and wave his hand for her to continue, we are still missing the 7th Super Dragon Ball. Bulma said awkwardly as Naruto blinked before laughing. You don't know. This planet is the last Super Dragon Ball. Naruto said with a chuckle as everyone's eyes widened. Naruto snapped his fingers as everyone blinked as the arena and bubble zoomed out of the planet, and he snapped his fingers again as the planet shone, revealing the Super Dragon Ball. Come forth, Dragon of the Gods, and grant my wish, pretty peas. Naruto shouted in the language of the gods as all 7 Super Dragon Balls shone before they turned into a massive golden dragon as the orb covering the group hovered towards the head of the dragon. To use the Super Dragon Balls, only beings who can speak the language of the gods can speak to Super Shenron. Naruto informed the excited crowd. Now, I wish for the planet Earth in Universe 6 to be revived along with its people and animals, as if there was no civil war at all. Naruto said the language of the gods as the dragon's eyes turned red before it roared as it turned back into the planet-sized Dragon Balls and zoomed to different points in Universe 6 and 7. They're all done. Naruto said cheerfully. Now we need a place to gather where everyone can come to talk about me. Naruto hummed. How about the palace? Zeno suggested as the gods gasped. None of them were allowed into the palace of Zeno without explicit permission except the angels. Sounds like a plan. Now everyone hold hands so we only need to teleport once. Naruto announced as Vados instantly claimed one of his hands while Zeno resumed his spot on his shoulder, making him chuckle. Whis grabbed his sister's other hand while the Grand Priest put a hand on Naruto's other shoulder. You can grab onto me as Supreme Case can instantly go to the palace with permission. Shin said as everyone put a hand on his shoulders while Universe 6 did the same with Fua. Hi Kai. Naruto and the Supreme Case said as they all disappeared in a flash of light. As they reappeared outside the palace of Xenobeerus turned to the mortals and said seriously mortals. This is a rare privilege not even I am afforded lightly. Do not mess it up. Beerus warned them menacingly as everyone gulped. Although how did that Naruto come here? Only Supreme Case can use Kai, yet his power seems to be on the level of angels or above. Beerus thought as he watched a blonde chat happily with Vados and Whis. As they walked through the palace Naruto turned to the Grand Priest and said please summon all the angels from the 12 universes. I owe it them all to explain. Naruto said seriously as Whis decided to ask. What about the destroyers and Supreme Case? Whis asked with a smile. Naruto shrugged sure summon them too as I guess they are your students more or less. Naruto said nonchalantly as they stopped in a massive throne room. Very well. Calling all angels and Supreme Case. This is an emergency summons from Zeno-sama. Please make your way to the throne room as soon as possible. The Grand Priest shouted into his staff as every angel heard the call from their own staff. Now we shall have to wait a few minutes. It will only take that long to gather the gods from all 12 universes here. Goku asked in amazement as Beerus thumped his head for being rude. Why yes. When I ask on behalf of Zeno-sama it typically gets done. The Grand Priest replied as Naruto looked amused at Goku's informal attitude. Naruto continued to chat with Whis and Vados, only raising an eyebrow when he saw out the corner of his eye the jealous and petty look sent by Champa. He also saw how the mortals were on edge around the deities making him frown. Vados saw a frown appear on Naruto's face and was about to ask about it until Naruto's face turned happy with a massive grin. Naruto beckoned the angels and Zeno to come closer as he whispered something while the angels listened closely. The gods were on edge wondering what they were discussing and if it would possibly blow back on them. At everyone's shock Vados gave a girly giggle while the angels had mischievous grin mirrored by Naruto. Naruto waved goodbye to the angels and then the mortals before he gave a wink and smirk. His eyes turned back to red with spirals as he vanished before anyone could say another word. Grand Priest, Zeno-sama where did that guy go my lords? Beerus decided to ask seeing as they did not appear to be in the mood to erase him right now. Naruto has decided he wants to make an entrance when our guests arrive along with it being a surprise. So, by decree of Zeno-sama himself nobody here will say anything about Naruto until he reveals himself once again. The Grand Priest announced as Champa grumbled on why they had to adhere to the wishes of a random blonde. Shut up or I will erase you. Zeno said coldly losing his friendly smile as Champa grew pale and apologized profusely as Bulma's sweat dropped at how the gods demanded respect but were suck-ups to Zeno and the Grand Priest. That goes for the rest of you. If you reveal Naruto's existence before he comes back himself, Zeno-sama will have no problem erasing you on the spot. The Grand Priest revealed as everyone got on their knees and promised on their lives they would keep their mouths shut. A few more minutes passed before several voices could be heard from the Grand Priest's staff my lord we are teleporting in. Several voices announced as Beerus pointed to the arena where 10 groups of lights appeared. The angels, Supreme Case and God of Destructions of all 12 universes, were in the palace now. Although notably 2 universes had an additional person for each universe. Welcome. Thank you for coming on such quick notice, although Universe 10 and Universe 11 appear to have an additional guest and requested. May you introduce yourselves. The Grand Priest announced with a hand gesture. Of course, my lords. This Zamasu my lord. He is going to be my successor Supreme Kai in the future, so I thought it would be appropriate if he got to see a meeting of gods in person. Goasu current Supreme Kai of Universe 10 revealed as Zamasu bowed his head. Zeno-sama, Grand Priest, it is an honor to meet you. I hope my presence will not be an issue. Zamasu said with respect. The Grand Priest looked at Zeno who shook his head. It appears Zeno-sama is fine with it as long as you remember proper protocol. Grand Priest said with authority. Of course, my lord. You honor me. Zamasu said thankfully, although he did turn his head to look at Universe 6 and 7, who had mortals along with their gods. This is blasphemy. Having mortals heed in this sacred land. Their very presence defiles this land where only gods may stand. He thought angrily. Now Universe 11. Please introduce your extra member. The Grand Priest demanded politely. Of course, my lord. This is Toppo. He will be my successor one day as God of Destruction for Universe 11. I requested he be here to see what meetings would look like in the future. Bellman the clown like God of Destruction said with a bow. Toppo was on his knees in reverence. The Grand Priest looked at Zeno who shrugged. Very well Bellman-san, Toppo-san our great Zeno-sama has allowed it. The same warnings apply to you as well of course. Grand Priest said as Bellman thanked the gods. Zamasu decided to speak his mind while still on his knees. My lord. Zamasu said with politeness as Zeno huffed. What is it, Zamasu-san? As you can see, Zeno-sama is not pleased at being interrupted. The Grand Priest said with a sigh. Forgive me, but what are mortals in our sacred land from Universe 6 and 7? Zamasu asked with barely held contempt in his voice. His questions got murmurs from the other universes as well, while Beerus just growled. Too much noise. Zeno said in annoyance as the Grand Priest looked stern. Silence. Grand Priest demanded and everyone instantly grew silent. These mortals are honored guests of Zeno-sama who have amused him. He has invited them personally to this realm. The Grand Priest revealed as the gods of other universes' eyes widened. If you have a problem with them staying here, feel free to take it up with His Majesty himself, but be warned, any action against his guests means your universe will suffer as well. The Grand Priest warned as the gods gulped and nobody spoke again. The Grand Priest then summarized what happened in the Tournament of Destroyers, making the gods gasp at the thought of 3 mortals here, Goku, Vegeta and Hit, whose powers entered the realm of the gods. He was careful to exclude Naruto's involvement, making it sound like a routine inspection of himself and Zeno which nobody caught up on. Damn it, Beerus and Champa. Making that stupid tournament and involving Zeno-sama. Quitella, the god of destruction of Universe 4, seethed in his mind. He still was resentful towards Beerus for skipping and sleeping, though the last all-Universe 12 hide and seek for 50 years. Zamasu, isn't it fascinating that the rumors of the Super Dragon Balls turned out to be true? Goasu said excitedly as Cuss Angel of Universe 10 smiled happily. He was speaking to his apprentice who had a dark glint in his eyes that made Cuss frown for a second before smiling again. Yes, my lord. Zamasu said in a submissive voice, but his thoughts were much darker inside. Damn mortals daring to get into the domains of the gods. Although the power of the Super Dragon Balls intrigues me. Zamasu seethed inside his mind. I don't care how many mortals claim to have the powers of the gods, they will never match up to Universe 11. Especially with you and Jiren as part of my universe. Bellman whispered to Toppo, who nodded. That is correct, Bellman-sama. Justice is always on the side of our universe. Toppo whispered back before he took a quick look at Goku. Besides that, one's energy seems far too low to be any real threat, although it does appear he is not at full power. Toppo mused, not realizing Goku was suffering from side effects of using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken NX10 recklessly. Zeno whispered something to the Grand Priest, who nodded. Excuse me. Our Lord wishes for everyone to introduce themselves, since he can't remember who everyone is, so we shall have all gods from the universe 1 to 12 introduce themselves in ascending order. Starting with Universe 1, if you shall please. The Grand Priest decreed as everyone stood at attention. Geez, that little thing is supposed to be the lord of everything, but can't remember who he lords over. Better not talk. Bulma thought to herself in astonishment, but realized this was not the time to talk. From Universe 1, I am the god of destruction Iwin with my angel Iwamo and Supreme Kayonado. Iwin said with a bow, gesturing to his angel and Supreme Case, who also bowed. The Grand Priest nodded and gestured for Universe 2 to continue. Bulma quickly bashed Rashi's head before he could start drooling over the god of destruction for Universe 2. My lords. It is a wonderful and beautiful occasion to be honored by your presence. It is I, the beautiful and graceful god of destruction Hells. My beautiful Supreme Kai is Pell and handsome Ange is Sour. Hells announced with a curtsy and bow. Hells was notably the only female god of destruction, and she was extremely beautiful and slender. She had light brown skin with black hair and red lipstick. She had green eyes with turquoise eyeliner and very large breasts. She wore what appeared to be Egyptian-style clothing, exposing her stomach with Egyptian apparel, a headdress, a dark turquoise sash, and a white skirt. Zeno clapped while the Grand Priest chuckled. Thank you, Hells-san, it appears Zeno was most pleased with your entrance. The Grand Priest said with amusement as this made Hells gasp and bow deeply. Naruto also appears to rather taken in with her. He mused as he looked at what looked like an empty space next to Zeno, but in reality, Naruto was sitting there. Despite what Universe 6 and 7 believed, Naruto did not actually leave but was sitting in a pocket space invisible to all except him and Zeno. Naruto could hear and see everything, and he could see the intrigued look on his face, along with a wink sent his way. Sour and Pell could only chuckle as they bowed along with Hells as the Grand Priest waved his hand. I am Yule of Universe 3, my lords. I am our universe god of destruction, and our Supreme Kai is Air and Angel Campari. Mule said with a bow, but it came out as beep, so Campari translated. Naruto personally thought it was strange Mule was inside another body and Air looked like a geek, but didn't bother commenting on that. I am Quitella, my lords, god of destruction for Universe 4 Kekiki. Quitella chortled as he bowed. My Supreme Kai is Kuru and Angel Cognac. He said proudly as he thought, if Beerus messes this up, I swear I will end him and his little universe. That one looks like a rat, and not just because he looks like a mouse. Naruto mused, sensing great negative emotions directed at Beerus. Naruto soon zoomed out the rest of the introductions, only focusing on Vados with a wink and a look of longing, which sadly she couldn't see as he set up his pocket space, so angels could not see him. If they could see him, it would ruin the surprise. He was mildly surprised at how all the gods of destruction glared at Beerus when he introduced himself, thinking that Beerus must be quite interesting to have the other 11 universes so pissed at him. Universe 8 God of Destruction Liquier mildly interested him, if nothing else, to see a fox-like god. Universe 9 somewhat surprised him as the Supreme Kai from that universe. Ro seemed to much more bloodthirsty than his God of Destruction counterpart Ro, who seemed like a wimp in Naruto's opinion. One thing I do notice is all these gods of destruction and some of the Supreme Kai seem pretty prideful and holier than thou. Don't see why they are so proud they can be replaced at the drop of a hat, unlike the angels who are eternal unless erased by Zen. Naruto thought sourly, hating deities who had no respect for mortal lives. He honestly preferred, based on first glances, the mortals from Universe 6 and 7, who at least seemed to have real personalities, instead of being proud of themselves. Now onto Universe 10, who has a special guest in the form of an apprentice Supreme Kai. The Grand Priest announced as all the deities from Universe 10 bowed. Yes, my lord. I am Goasu, the current Supreme Kai, along with my apprentice Zamasu. Goasu announced as Zamasu kept his head down, but his hatred was visible light as day for Naruto. Along with Rumsey, our god of destruction, and Kus, our angel. Goasu continued as Naruto briefly raised an eyebrow at the elephant-like god of destruction before his eyes widened in happiness at the oldest angel besides the Grand Priest. Despite her young-looking, petite figure, she was the oldest of her angel siblings. It took all he had not to blow his cover to rush over there and smother Kus with love and affection when he saw a deep sadness in her eyes that he saw in Vado's eyes. Naruto sent a stop motion to the Grand Priest and Zeno so they would not immediately go on to the next universe, as he spent another minute just looking at the angel. Zeno just started making up random demands for random gods which they obligated, which nobody objected to or suspected otherwise, as his whimsical personality was well known to be random. Despite the Grand Priest proclamation that this was for Zeno's benefit, it really was for Naruto's, who did not know any of the current god of destructions or supreme case. Elephant man, hop on one foot. Zeno demanded, pointing at Rumsey, who quickly did the demand much to his embarrassment, as several gods looked like they were restraining themselves from laughing. After one more proud stare at Kus, he glared at Zamasu, whose hatred was leaking out to the mortals sitting in Universe 6 and 7, although Naruto suspected he had a deep hatred to all mortals, regardless of universes. I swear I will end his existence if he does anything. He almost caused a riot by pointing out that mortals were allowed in this place. I don't care if he was selected to be a Supreme Kai, someday he will be gone if he tries anything. Naruto swore to himself as he waved a signal to the Grand Priest and Zeno, who finally appeared to be ready to continue. It looks like Zeno-sama is ready to continue. If you will, Universe 11. The Grand Priest announced as Zeno turned his head to where Universe 11 sat. It is my great honor to show off my replacement someday, Toppo, my lords. It is I, the humble Bellman, god of destruction for Universe 11. Bellman said proudly as he gestured to the kneeling Pride Trooper. Naruto still thought he looked like a clown, but he had a feeling he was anything but funny. I am the Supreme Kai of Universe 11 Kai, along with our angel Margarita. Kai announced, showing that Universe 11 had a more balanced relationship between gods and destroyers. Naruto quickly took note of how certain universes, the Supreme Kai like Shin of Universe 7, cowered to their destroyers, while others like Ro of Universe 9 seemed more in charge than their destroyers. Universe 11 uniquely seemed to have both destroyer and god on the same level. Margarita was a beautiful angel who was nearly equal in height to her sister Vados, although she had a more proud smirk with twin pigtails, unlike Vados, who only had long ponytail. Both Margarita and Vados have kept their beauty after all those years, and Kus is still adorable. Naruto thought happily as he sent a happy smile the clueless angel. However, Naruto's thoughts grew dark when he saw Bellman close distance to Margarita. If that clown made any moves on Margarita, I swear I will destroy him no matter what. If I have to destroy a universe, so be it. That goes for that fat cat in Vados or that elephant in Kus. Naruto swore with his eyes narrowed. His eyes were red with slits before returning to red with rings and Tomo. And that Pride Trooper Toppo was it. His power seems close to the Saiyans from Universe 7, so it is fair to say any of them could be destroyers in the future. Naruto analyzed as he gestured for the Grand Priest to finish. Finally, Universe 12, if you would. The Grand Priest said, gesturing to the last universe. I am Giant God of Destruction from Universe 12, along with Agu and Martinu, my lords. A fish-like God of Destruction introduced his universe. All the Supreme Case kinda look similar, and of course angels do as well, but God of Destruction come in all shapes and sizes. From fish, cats, elephants, clowns, robots, mice, humans and bearded men. Naruto mused, looking over the assembled deities once over. Now that all the universes have gathered, we shall start with our agenda today. The Grand Priest announced only to get a cough from Belmont, making the Grand Priest frown. Is there a problem, Belmont-san? The Grand Priest asked calmly with a hint of impatience as Belmont gulped but ignored the worried look sent his way. I am sorry to interrupt, my lord, but is it really needed for the mortals from Universe 6 and 7 to be here? Belmont asked boldly, ignoring the withering glare from Beerus and warning stare from his angel. I can understand Toppo and even Universe 10's Zamasu being here, as they will replace 2 of our positions today, but the mortals surely do not be here, correct? Belmont said slyly as several gods started whispering to each other. I concur, my lord. Unless Beerus is planning for one of his mortals to replace him, that is. Quitella chimed in with a mocking smile towards Beerus. I am afraid Lord Beerus does not currently need a replacement, my lords. Whis replied with a tired voice as Vegeta and Goku just gulped as how mad Beerus was becoming. Boo. Zeno said plainly as his frown became prominent. That is enough, Belmont-san. These honored guests were requested to come here, so unless your authority surpasses Zeno-sama, I suggest you stay quiet. The Grand Priest said coolly as Belmont whimpered while Margarita just sided her selfish god of destruction, attempt to sow discord against Beerus and his universe. Belmont can be such a child sometimes. Margarita thought to herself as she rolled her eyes in annoyance. Naruto decided it was best to reveal himself, partly to defuse the situation and partly how much he missed the angels. May I cut in? Naruto announced as his sudden voice out of nowhere made every deity on edge except Zeno, the Grand Priest and the deities from Universe 6 and 7, who only widened their eyes recognizing his voice. Who dares trespass on this place? Zamasu asked angrily, ignoring Goasa warning about speaking so openly in this meeting despite his low rank. Me, of course. Naruto announced as he appeared in a portal, revealing he was there the entire time in the throne room with his eyes in their ringed format before returning to blue when he materialized. His sudden appearance made everyone except Zeno and the Grand Priest leap up into a defensive position. Even Whis and Vados were a bit surprised as they could not sense him despite being right in front of him. Oh, I know it's been a while, but no hug. Naruto whined with a mock-hurt voice as he widened his arms out as if expecting a hug. This made the mortals from Universe 6 and 7 sweat drop, while the destroyers and Supreme Case were still in stances. However, the angels' eyes widened as they took in Naruto's voice and look as if they could not believe he was here. Is it really you? Margarita asked as Belmont sent her a bewildered look, seeing tears in his angel's eyes. What are you talking about? Who is this intruder? Belmont demanded, only to get ignored by the angel who only had eyes on Naruto. Dear sister, it is 100% him. Vados confirmed as suddenly there appeared to be a sonic boom from Universe 10 as everyone glanced over to see Cus run at speeds nobody had ever seen before, not even from God of Destructions. Cus ran straight at Naruto, who only smiled before he picked her up and swung her around when she barreled into his chest. Cus-sama. What are you doing? Zamasu demanded as Rumsey also looked furious. It is really you? Cus cried out as Naruto gently pat her head and rubbed her back. Yeah, I just back today and I am truly sorry I left, my dear Cus. Naruto apologized as Cus gave a warm, genuine smile as she backed off. Before any of the destroyers could react, the other angels vanished and appeared in front of Naruto. Margarita had grabbed one of Naruto's arms into her bountiful chest, while Vados took his Tower arm into her ample chest. Cus merely buried her face into Naruto's chest as Naruto grinned. This position made one old pervert in particular start drooling, only to be clunked on the head by both 18 and Bulma. The other angels were male bent the knee in respect as the destroyers just gasped like fish out of the water at the show of love and respect given to the unknown blonde, far surpassing what was given to destroyers and even Zeno-sama. Rumsey shouted, Zeno-sama, Grand Priest. Why are our angels showing so much respect to this blonde mortal? Belmont and several destroyers looked ready to agree with the destroyer from Universe 10 until they saw the glare and dark look sent from every angel, along with the Grand Priest and even Zeno. Everyone hastily backed away from the terrified elephant as Cus had the darkest look he had ever seen thrown his way. Naruto is our creator and the beginning of everything, so shut your mouth, destroyer. Cus hissed as Kai leaked out of her in anger. That's right, to him everyone besides us angels and Zeno-sama are just mortals, so if you insult him you insult us all. Margarita added as her hair stood up in anger at the insult. Pre-creator Belmont stuttered as everyone looked wide-eyed at the smirking blonde. That's right. I created my dear angels, the being you call the Grand Priest and Zeno, long before any of you were even a thought. Naruto said with a smirk as all the deities and mortals promptly passed out from shock. Oh geez. Oh well, I will revive them in just a few minutes, but first. Naruto said before capturing Margarita in a passionate kiss, making her moan as Vados and Cus looked jealous, while the other angels just laughed along with Zeno and the Grand Priest. After a hot minute he went to Vados and resumed a passionate kiss on her as Margarita tried to catch her breath and Cus had a pout. Another minute later he released Vados, who looked out of breath and red in the face. Before he could react, Kuss threw herself at Naruto, wrapping her arms around his neck as they shared another passionate kiss for a good minute. "Did you enjoy yourself, sisters?" Whis asked with a smirk, pointing at both female angels who had massive smiles and blushes on their faces. "Yes, brother, it has far too long." Vados admitted without shame. "It has far too long indeed. Much better than when that clown tried to kiss me when I first become his mentor. Luckily, he only got a staff in the face. It took a few centuries before he realized I was off limits." Margarita said with distaste as she glared at her passed out god of destruction with annoyance. Luckily for Universe 11, Naruto was too preoccupied with Kuss, or else their universe, or at least the god of destruction, would be gone for Bellman's actions towards Margarita. After Kuss released Naruto, she gasped for air as Naruto looked relaxed but much happier. "I guess I will revive them in a minute," Naruto said as the angels laughed at him. Only the female angels were born with a desire for sex or romantic feelings, which only applied to Naruto himself. The males, however, still found it funny to joke about Naruto loving his daughters in a naughty way, but they knew, unlike mortals, it was not wrong. "It seems our family is back together at last," the Grand Priest said happily as Zeno smiled widely. Now they would have to deal with the fallout of this reveal and pesky rebels before it became a problem. "I guess I should wake everyone up and explain things, huh?" Naruto said with a sigh as the angels laughed at his annoyed look. They knew the reason why they led the universes to believe Zeno was the creator of everything was partially due to Naruto's insistence of avoiding the spotlight. "Do Sama, if you wish, I would be happy to explain on your behalf," the Grand Priest offered as Naruto gave him a warm smile. The Grand Priest was always loyal to a fault to both his creator and Zeno, but Naruto shook his head. "Now you have handled things well in my stead. It is my turn to show some responsibility," Naruto said as he snapped his fingers as a blue light surrounded every mortal and deity on the ground, waking them up instantly. "Man, I had the most bizarre dream that a blonde claimed to have created Zeno-sama and all the angels. That is crazy, right, Whis?" Beerus said as he yawned, rubbing his eyes. "Nope, not a dream, just a recent event 5 minutes ago," Naruto chirped as everyone looked wide-eyed at the blonde who was surrounded by the angels, confirming that their recent memories were not a dream. "My lords. Surely this man jests. He cannot possibly have created all of you, or we would have heard of him," Zamasu shouted as he could not sense any Kai coming from Naruto. This proved in his mind he must be so far beneath him that Naruto must be immortal. The other gods, however, held their breath in fear as Kuss radiated killer intent that flooded the area, while the Grand Priest and Zeno frowns made everyone fear for their lives. Ironically enough, Naruto did not seem the least put off from the Apprentice Supreme case accusations. "Zamasu-san, you should watch your tongue before Zeno-sama decides to erase it and the rest of you for your insolence," the Grand Priest warned with a calm but furious tone of voice as Zamasu stumbled back a few steps. Rumsey decided to step in before Zeno decided to erase his universe's Apprentice Supreme Kai and possibly entire universe in annoyance. "Forgive Zamasu, my lords. He can be a bit talkative. I am afraid he does not quite understand where he sits on the deity ranking," Rumsey explained as he glared at Zamasu, who bowed his head in repentance, although he felt no regret for his words. Kuss's killer intent vanished, although she still glared heavily at the deities she was in charge of, while Zeno and the Grand Priest had neutral expressions. "I believe what my counterpart's apprentice is trying to say is, we are just a bit curious on how none of us were made aware of my lord's creator all this time and how we are unable to sense his Kai at all," Rumsey said smoothly as they got the intended effect of the other deities besides Beerus to start to question how they couldn't sense Naruto's Kai. Those foolish gods. The reason they cannot sense Naruto's power is because it is so far above theirs, it is inconceivable how powerful he is. Vegeta thought furiously, having unable to see Naruto move towards Whis and Vados from before. Those idiots are going to get all erased. If Naruto really did create the angels and Zeno-sama, then insulting him by implying he is so weak we cannot sense him is going to get all of them to erase us. Beerus thought urgently, seeing the angel's neutral expression turn dark. Before Goasa could reprimand his apprentice or god of destruction counterpart for their rudeness, he heard a thud. Everyone turned and saw Kuss appear with Rumsey on the floor with a massive crater around him, while Zamasu was coughing up blood as Kuss' fist was implanted in his stomach. "Kuss-sama. Forgive us, but what are you doing?" Goasa asked in shock as his normally friendly angel teacher looked murderous. The rest of the angels looked pleased at her actions. "Goasa, I do not hold you responsible for their words and actions, but they have spoken far too freely towards Naruto-sama. Zamasu shall pay." Kuss hissed as she pulled her fist back and let Zamasu fall forward, only to grab his neck and hold him up with one hand as she charged Godly Kai in the other hand. She was several feet shorter than Zamasu, but she hovered in the air so that she was holding onto Zamasu's throat and had his feet dangling pitifully. "Zeno-sama. Please stop this. This is not how angels are supposed to act." Bellman pleaded as although he held no love for Universe 10, it was more the idea that angels attack directly without permission from a deity that upset him. My lord. Would you care to explain how angels are supposed to act? Margarita asked with a sweet smile, but her eyes threatened to skin him alive as Bellman gulped. He may be proud of having the only mortal that a god of destruction could not beat, but even he recognized that her power far exceeded Gyron's, Toppo's and his own. Destroy him but make him suffer. Zeno said instead as he looked delighted at the suffering the apprentice Supreme Kai was showing. Zamasu gasped desperately trying to pry the angel's hand from his throat, but despite her short stature her powers far exceeded his own, as he was unable to even make the angel flinch. The other gods were too shell-shocked to do another but stay quiet. It was an unspoken rule that angels were only to reprimand gods of destruction if they were to destroy entire universes, but never fight directly, especially against the deities they were supposed to guide. Just before Kus could snap Zamasu neck or destroy him outright with divine power, Naruto decided to intervene. Kus-chan, that is enough. Let him go. Naruto said with a sigh as Kus grit her teeth but let Zamasu fall on the ground gasping for air. Naruto-sama. Let me destroy him. He insulted you directly to your face and deserves worse than death. Kus insisted as Naruto shook his head. Kus-chan, I don't care what the gods of destruction or supreme case think of me, to be honest. However, Zamasu seems to be under the impression I am just a lowly mortal, so I think he deserves a chance to prove his point. Naruto mused as he gestured to Zamasu who was still gasping for air. Kus frowned but summoned her staff and waved it towards Zamasu and Rumsey, who recovered but notably fled away from the irate angel. Naruto whispered to Zeno and the Grand Priest, who frowned but nodded. Very well, Naruto has requested an exhibition match between himself and Zamasu Sen of Universe 10, and Zeno-sama has approved it. The Grand Priest announced as everyone turned to the cocky apprentice Supreme Kai, who looked much more relieved. He would be facing Naruto directly now. Rumsey whispered into Zamasu ear, good going Zamasu. Now just humiliate this worthless blonde so Zeno-sama and the angel can remember how things are supposed to be. Rumsey seemed above himself in delight as Zamasu bowed his head in respect. Of course, my lord. This is all for the sake of restoring things to how things are supposed to be. Zamasu replied as Rumsey clapped him on the shoulder in pride. Fool. When things are restored to normal, I will need to find a way to gather the Super Dragon Balls to get the infinite power of Son Goku and kill all the Supreme Case. Although the destroyers could kill less about destroying a few thousand mortals, I need to eradicate them all. So, all the destroyers need to be incapacitated. Sorry Lord Rumsey, but you and Goasa-sama need to vanish for my plans to come into effect. Zamasu thought darkly, not knowing Naruto could sense his dark thoughts clear as day. Seeing Margarita, his angel, stand so close to the unknown blonde made Bellman furious. True, Margarita had threatened to beat him within an inch of his life for trying to hook up with her before this blonde appeared, but in the destroyer's eyes Margarita's disrespectful attitude all stemmed from this. Naruto. I don't care what magic this blonde mortal has used to ensure the angels and Zeno, but once he has proven nothing but a weak mortal, everything shall return to normal. Bellman thought to himself. He refused to believe the angels' account that Naruto somehow created them, as it would mean he was an entity that far surpassed all of the deities here, and that was impossible. Damn it, Vados. First you tell on me to Zeno-sama, then you act all over Dovey with this blonde. I can't wait to see this Naruto guy fail, so you can see that my side is the only place you need to be. Champa muttered as Beerus scoffed. Man, this should be fun. A match between Naruto, who seems insanely strong, and Zamasu, who seems pretty strong too. Goku said happily as Vegeta rolled his eyes at his rival's immature attitude. Damn it, Kakarot. Vegeta sighed before he looked at Shin. Supreme Kai. Vegeta said as Shin widened his eyes. Yes, Vegeta? What is it? Shin asked politely as Elder Kai muttered about being him too shy to mortals. It seems nobody besides the angels have any real idea about Naruto, right? Vegeta asked as everyone shook their heads. So what can you tell me about this Zamasu? He is supposed to be a Supreme Kai in the future, right? Vegeta asked a bit rudely as Bulma gave him a quick thump on the head. Yes. I have heard he was the Northern Lord of Worlds for Universe 10, but Goasa-sama is currently teaching him how to be a Supreme Kai so he can retire. Rumor has it compared to the Supreme Case of the 12 universes, Zamasu is stronger than any of us. Shin revealed as Goku whistled in appreciation. Man, sounds tough. I wish I could fight him. Goku whined as Vegeta frowned. Please Kakarot, Zamasu is nothing special. Even if I or you were to not use blue or god forms, we could beat him. Vegeta remarked as Goku shrugged his shoulders. Attention everyone. I will make an arena in just a minute. Please wait by your respective universes quietly so we can begin this exhibition match. The Grand Priest announced as all chatter instantly stopped. The Grand Priest clapped his hands together as the thrones hovered and the room itself expanded as a large arena appeared out of nowhere in the middle. He added platforms underneath each universe which hovered high in the air as the arena sat on the floor. Several angels had returned to stand by their respective universes, although Cuss, Vados and Margarita stubbornly refused to leave Zeno's side, who did not seem to mind. Please enjoy this match which will end when Zeno-sama or myself have deemed it pointless to continue. The Grand Priest announced as he gestured for Zamasu and Naruto to enter the ring. Naruto-san may have a fair and honest fight for Zeno-sama. Zamasu said politely with a bow as Naruto raised an eyebrow. I hope so too, Zamasu. Naruto replied with a smile. He thought to himself, wow, I can't believe this guy can speak with all that shit coming out of his mouth. Begin. The Grand Priest shouted, waving his hand down as he hovered and flew to be by Zeno's side. I will let him dance around for a bit before I use my powers to reveal his plans and get rid of him once and for all. Cuss should not have such vermin in her universe, although that Goasu guy seems at least honest if not a bit naive. Naruto remarked as he stood across from Zamasu with his hands in by his sides. This is my chance. He isn't in a stance. Zamasu thought to himself as he charged in at full speed. Take this. Zamasu shouted as he coated his hand in Kai and swung the makeshift sword at Naruto's head. To everyone's shock except the angels, Naruto had effortlessly blocked the Kai sword with the back on his left hand as he looked bored. Is that all you got? Naruto asked in boredom as Zamasu grit his teeth. Damn it. I refuse to be looked down upon like this. Zamasu announced in anger as he started a fierce barrage of swings with both hands covered in Kai, while Naruto still looked bored, dodging swings with ease or just blocking, with no visible aura around his hands. Beautiful. That man Naruto is truly a strong, beautiful being. Would you not agree, Saur-sama? Hells asked excitedly as Saur chuckled. Indeed, Hell-sama. Naruto is indeed beautiful as you say. He is both my creator and friend to all. Saur commented as he continued to watch Naruto bat away Zamasu's strikes with ease. Face me, coward, and fight back. Zamasu demanded as he started to grow demented with anger as his strikes became sharper and aiming for vital points, although Naruto easily still parried and blocked with the greatest of ease. If you insist. Naruto relented as he caught Zamasu's sword hand with no visible discomfort using his left hand before he used his right hand in front of Zamasu's glaring face. Poke. Naruto said lightly as he flicked his finger at his forehead as he let go of Zamasu's hand. There was a moment of silence before the flick sent Zamasu's head back and his entire body flew backwards with great speed as the force of the flick soon showed its effects. This greatly shocked the deities that such a simple action could cause a Supreme Kai level being to be sent flying. Zamasu flew backwards as he cried out before he crashed through a pillar and it collapsed on him. Sugo. This is just like when I fought you as a Super Saiyan 3 when we first met, Beerus-sama. Goku said in excitement as Beerus had a small smile on his face. Yes, I was trying not to kill you, and it seems Naruto is doing the same as Zamasu. Beerus noted as Naruto just stretched his arms out and yawned. Goasu? What is with your apprentice bringing such shame to Universe 10? Rumsey demanded his counterpart who sputtered, not used to seeing his strong apprentice face such an opponent. Forgive me, Rumsey-sama. I don't know what is happening. It appears Zamasu was not holding back, but this Naruto seems to be a completely different level. Goasu admitted, baffled at turns of events. Damn it. I knew I could not count on Universe 10 to send a decent fighter. I guess I will have to step in and show this mortal that defeating a Supreme Kai is nothing compared to my powers. Bellman hissed in his mind, annoyed that Naruto defeated Zamasu with such ease. Zeno and the Grand Priest looked pleased with the female angels, looked absolutely giddy with glee. Especially Cuss, who looked pleased that her prey was getting his just desserts for insulting her beloved creator. Naruto took several leisure steps towards Zamasu, who with great pulled himself out of the rubble with his forehead bleeding from the dent caused by the flick. Damn it all. Zamasu swore as he spat out blood and glared heatedly at Naruto, who looked down at him with distaste. Don't get so convoluted, mortal. Face divine wrath. Zamasu declared as he charged all his Kai into one blast, only for Naruto to grab his wrist and break it with ease. Crack. Was the sound heard across the entire room as Zamasu cries of pain soon followed as Naruto merciless broke the apprentice Supreme Kai wrist, making it hang on the floor uselessly. Grand Priest. Zeno-sama. Surely this is taking it too far. Naruto broke Zamasu's wrist without provocation. Rumsey demanded, trying to find some fault for Naruto's actions, as Goasu looked at his apprentice with pity. The Grand Priest did not look impressed with Rumsey's attempt to discredit Naruto, but did look at Zeno, who clapped his hands. Naruto is making this fun. Zeno chanted as he kicked his feet up. It seems Zeno-sama is fine with Naruto's actions. The Grand Priest announced with a hidden smirk as Rumsey grit his teeth in humiliation, while Beerus smirked. Naruto quickly bent down to Zamasu's broken form, and without anyone seeing it, his eyes turned red as he stared directly into Zamasu's, whose eyes glazed over for a second before turning back to their hate-filled glare. You really are pathetic. You do not have the power to accomplish your goals, so you intend to take a shortcut. Naruto said with annoyance as several gods started to whisper at his words, while Rumsey growled at his impudence. Naruto, if you continue to say such words, Universe 10 will hate you no matter what I say. The Grand Priest said with a sigh as Naruto shrugged his shoulders. If they hate me for talking bad about a deity who wants to kill all mortals, so be it. Naruto said with indifference as Goasu for once was outraged. How dare you say that? Goasu demanded as Rumsey was a bit shocked to see his counterpart so passionate. Zamasu is a fine god and someday will lead Universe 10 proudly. Goasu demanded as Zeno raised a hand. Quiet, I want to hear Naruto talk. Zeno demanded as everyone grew silent. Please Naruto, share your thoughts and why you said those things. The Grand Priest asked politely as Naruto stood up ignoring the hissing Zamasu. Sure, Zamasu here intends to slaughter every mortal in existence after stealing the body of Son Goku. Naruto said as everyone from Universe 7 started shouting. What purpose would there be stealing the body of a mortal? Hells asked in shock. Naruto gave her a quick smile before saying in a dark voice, Son Goku is a Saiyan who has the unique power to continue to evolve his powers through battle and eventually to the point where it could surpass deities. Naruto, how would such a task even be possible? Even deities cannot just take over another body. The Grand Priest asked as he stared down at Zamasu with distaste. The Super Dragon Balls, of course. Naruto said as everyone looked down at Naruto with shock. Wait a minute. No matter how powerful Zamasu could become, if he started slaughtering mortals without regard, us destroyers would destroy him first. Champa said confidently as the other god of destruction agreed loudly. Not if he simply killed the Supreme Case while you weren't looking and you disappeared along with him. Naruto retorted as the gods gasped while the mortals looked confused. Wait, if someone kills a Supreme Kai, the god of destruction also dies. Goku asked while Beerus looked furious that this information was revealed. Oh my. I suppose the cat is out of the bag, Habira-sama. Whis chortled as Beerus glared at the angel. I don't know why you are so chipper, Whis. If I die then you become inactive. Beerus hissed back quietly as Whis gave an amused smile. I wonder about that now that Naruto is back. Whis said mysteriously as Beerus' eyes widened. Do you have anything to say for yourself, Zamasu-san? The Grand Priest asked with hidden anger while Zamasu just started laughing hysterically. You gods condemn me for my purification process. Zamasu asked with heat before his face turned wicked. You who would do nothing as mortals misuse the power and knowledge given to them by the divine are the ones who are guilty. Anyone who would not use their powers to help the cosmos by getting rid of the source problem, which are mortals, are evil. Zamasu claimed as Goasu looked down in shame for what his apprentice had become while every other god looked down at him with anger. Zamasu, why have you fallen such evil? You know our roles as Supreme Case is merely to watch how mortals evolve. The role on whether they need to be destroyed falls on the destroyers and Zeno-sama. Goasu lectured as Zamasu looked outraged. Why should I stand back and let the destroyers choose who lives and dies when everyone should die? Zamasu retorted as the destroyers looked ready to erase the fallen god. However, the Grand Priest shook his head as she stared intently at the stoic Uzumaki. Enough of this. I shall end you here and now before your destructive ways can hurt anyone else. Naruto said as he stood back and allowed his eyes to change from blue back to red again. Naruto is going to use it, huh? Been a while since I have seen him punish somebody like this is. The Grand Priest thought, sensing power built into Naruto's eyes. Amaterasu? Naruto said simply as he stared and focused on Zamasu's unbroken arm. Before everyone, very eyes, black flames ignited out of nowhere and started burning Zamasu's arm rapidly. Ah. This is nothing, I can simply overpower it with my divine powers. Zamasu said as A tried to use all his remaining godly Kai and surround the black fire, but to his shock the fire simply burned the godly Kai along with his arm. Incredible. Whatever those black flames are, it is not only eating away at Zamasu's body, it is even consuming Kai itself. Shin said in amazement as Beerus' eyes narrowed. This seems like Hakai but somehow different. Beerus thought as he looked at Whis, who did not appear shocked at Naruto's powers. Damn it all. My justice is absolute. I am divine and righteous. I am Zamasu. Zamasu screamed as the black fire had spread quickly and consumed his entire body, leaving nothing, not even ash. Naruto quickly willed the fire away as everyone looked at the spot where the god once stood. TST. Big deal. Any destroyer could use Hakai and have ended that pitiful god's existence in an instant. Bellman commented as he still did not believe that Naruto could possibly be stronger than him. Foolish destroyers. Naruto's black flames would consume even Hakai if it got caught by it. Nothing besides myself and Zeno-sama could survive those flames unless he willed them to stop. The Grand Priest thought in disappointment, seeing the proud expressions on most of the destroyers. Goasu? Next time you pick an apprentice like that I will erase you. Rumsey threatened as Goasu just gulped. Yes, sir. I understand. Goasu said as he was still sad, his beloved apprentice had fallen so low. The Grand Priest snapped his finger as the hovering platforms moved to be right in front of Zeno's floating throne. Well, I hope that was a lesson to you all that evil like that will not be tolerated, not by Zeno-sama, myself or Naruto. The Grand Priest stated as he stared sternly at the deities who bowed. Toppo, what do you think of Naruto? Bellman whispered to Toppo, who looked conflicted. My lord. While it is true what Zamasu planned to do was twisted and he deserved punishment. Only an appointed destroyer or Zeno-sama should hand out death. It is not heroic for anyone else to take another's life regardless of the reason. Toppo whispered back angrily. I see, Toppo. Bellman sat calmly, but inside he was smirking. Perfect, if I can get Toppo and Jiren angry at Naruto, I might convince the other deities to help me topple over this unknown threat. Bellman thought to himself, already seeing a plan hatch in his mind. Now that is handled, what would you like to do, Naruto? The Grand Priest asked as everyone stared at the blonde who looked around before focusing on Universe 7. I believe I want to visit Universe 7 if it's alright with the deities over there. Naruto asked politely with a small bow. Of course, Naruto. It would be our honor. Whis announced as Beerus nodded his head. The Supreme Case just nodded frantically while Goku looked excited. Very well. Naruto, we shall meet again soon. The Grand Priest announced as Zeno waved. Bye, Naruto. Zeno chanted as Naruto waved back. Naruto was about to walk towards Whis until he felt his hands held by Margarita and Vados, while Cus looked at him expectantly. Yes. Can I help you? Naruto asked with some amusement as he could sense Champa, Bellman and Rumsey angry emotions as he was walking with their angels in hand. We want to join you wherever you go. Cus said seriously as Vados and Margarita nodded their heads. What about your assigned universes? Naruto asked calmly as the three female angels looked annoyed. I still like Oasu, but Rumsey may die if I stand close to him for too long. Cus said angrily as Rumsey gulped while Goasu sighed but looked understanding. Champa is better off without me there. He can eat whatever he wants without my advice. Vados commented as Champa looked ready to argue until Naruto's fierce glare shut him up. Bellman can be a bit much, so I prefer to stay with your Naruto-kun. Margarita said happily as Bellman grit his teeth in anger but held his tongue. It would not do for him to start a fight, only get erased by Zeno, as Zeno seemed to highly respect the blonde. You guys okay with this? Naruto asked Zeno and the Grand Priest. Yup. It is better this way. Zeno declared as the Grand Priest chuckled and nodded. Very well. I declare this meeting over. Everyone return to your own universes and another meeting shall occur every soon. The Grand Priest announced as group by group vanished with cries of Kai Kai was heard. Hells did give one more intense stare at Naruto before she left. Bellman gave Naruto a nasty glare along with Rumsey before they vanished back to their respective universes. Lastly, it was just Universe 6 and 7 left. Champa looked impatient as he stood by Fuwa. Kaba decided to say farewell to the angel who was kind to him. Farewell, Vados-sama. Kaba said respectfully as he bowed while Vados did a small courtesy in return. Best of luck, Kaba. Naruto will likely visit Universe 6, so I am sure I will visit again soon. Vados promised as Kaba bowed again. He waved bye to Vegeta, who grunted before he ran to meet Fuwa. Soon Universe 6 had returned home, leaving just Universe 7. Okay, everyone, hold on to the Supreme Kai and we shall go to your universe. Naruto announced as Vados and Margarita still held onto his hands. Cus had held onto his leg, making him chuckle. Rashi was holding himself back from getting a perverted comment seeing this position, but soon everyone else was holding hands around Shin. Kai Kai. Naruto and Shin shouted as they soon vanished in a ray of light. Soon the group of angels, gods, destroyers and mortals arrived in the sacred world of the Kai of Universe 7. Naruto looked around and whistled in appreciation seeing all the green grass and rocks. This place is pretty neat. Full of nature, although I sense a lack of actual life so secluded. Naruto complimented as Shin gave a bow. Thank you, Naruto-sama, you honor my planet. Shin said gratefully as the elder Kai resisted the urge to roll his eyes. You're such a kiss ass. This home planet is sacred and you accept the praise of an upstart blonde. For shame, you lowering yourself. Elder Kai said reproachfully to his younger counterpart, only to see a heart next to his face. He gulped when he looked into the beautiful face of Universe 11's angel Margarita, a mere foot away from his own. Normally he would more than pleased to see such a pretty face so close to his, but her face was angry and full of murderous intent. It did help she held a red ball of Kai at his chest, which he could tell would vaporize him instantly. Listen here, old man. I care little how you treat gods of your universe, but to imply Naruto is below you is an insult I cannot let stand. Margarita said coolly as the rest of the gods gulped in fear of the angel. Whoa, she is powerful. I did not even see her move. Goku whispered to Vegeta, who looked wide-eyed at the angel who he assumed was at least as powerful as Whis was. The red orb started to expand, ready to end the existence of the Elder Kai, until Naruto yelled. Enough. making Margarita stand back and release the Kai with a look of reluctance. I admit this old guy seems to have an attitude or at least pride problem, but I did not raise you to destroy anything that insulted me. You know better. Naruto scolded Margarita, who hung her head in shame. I know we should not destroy people for being rude. Kus commented as Whis had a hidden smirk at Beerus, who started to sweat. But should old farts lie him get away saying whatever nonsense they want? Kus asked as Elder Kai started to sweat more but refused to bow down. Why not? I don't care what gods or even mortals think of me. They can say whatever they wish. Doesn't mean it's true. It is only right they should not bend over to me. They don't know me, so why would they? Naruto said flatly as the mortals looked at him with wide eyes while the angels had huge proud smiles of their faces. Beerus looked at him critically while Shin looked at him with admiration. Elder Kai looked away, just happy he survived his big mouth. Naruto-san, are you sure about that? Beulah asked nervously as Beerus was about to reprimand her for such an informal honorific for such a powerful being, till Naruto raised his hand. I can tell you think San is too light for somebody like me, but I don't mind. Feel free to call me whatever you wish. Naruto said with a cheerful smile which let some of the tension run from the group. Alright Naruto-san, I will keep that in mind. Bulma said warmly as she did a bow. However, try to keep an open mind to Goku over there. He is an idiot who just says what he wants without thinking. Bulma warned, pointing to Goku, who had a huge pout on his face. Hey. Goku yelled as his friends laughed while the angels chuckled as well. Alright, but I think honestly saying what you really feel in your heart is the best way to communicate. If people don't say what they feel, that is when regrets happen. Naruto told them as he walked up to Goku and patted him on the shoulder. Hey. Wait a minute. I feel all better again. Goku shouted in surprise as he felt his exhausted body return to full power as his friends blinked in surprise. Of course. Where else do you think Supreme K servants and angels' healing powers come from? Naruto commented as Vados, Whis, Margarita and Kus nodded their heads as Beerus' eyes widened. Whis, you mean that? Beerus said in realization. Yes. The powers of healing all deities have come from teachings from Naruto taught through the Grand Priest. The powers the Supreme Kai apprentices have are just a derived version angels use. Whis clarified. You could say everything that heals is a blessing of Naruto. Vados commented as Naruto waved his hands in embarrassment. Oh come on. You give me too much credit. Naruto said modestly as Bulma looked at him in wonderment. Wow, modest deity. We don't have enough of those. Bulma thought to herself, thinking of Beerus and the gods she saw at the meeting. Goku decided to pipe up, what about senzu beans? As his friends smacked their hands to their face. Senzu beans? I do not believe I have seen them before. Naruto asked curiously as Whis decided to answer, seeing looks of confusion on Vados and Margarita faces. Allow me to explain, Naruto. They are special magical beans localized to Universe 7 Earth. They allow full healing and restoration of any injuries and stamina loss once consumed. Whis said informatively as Naruto looked thoughtful. That is interesting, I would have to see them to make a guess. Naruto remarked as he looked around. Shall we head to your universe's Earth and find out? Naruto suggested as he looked at Whis with a challenging eyebrow as if asking for permission. Of course, Naruto, I would feel honored to show you the planet of Universe 7 that makes good food, and I guess okay people. Beerus said, pointing at the mortals there. Is that all he thinks of Earth? The mortals' sweat dropped as Naruto nodded his agreement. Supreme Kai. Would you mind sending the mortals and Beerus to Earth before me? I will follow you afterwards using Kai Kai to follow your Kai. Naruto asked kindly as Shin nodded his head rapidly. Of course, Naruto-sama. May I ask why you wish to hang back? Shin asked nervously, almost sensing Beerus' glaring holes at the back of his head. No particularly reason. I just wished to speak to my angels for a minute before I arrived. Naruto said warmly as Shin nodded his head. Alright everyone, gather around me so I can teleport us to Earth. Shin announced as several grunts were heard. Elder Kai, Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta, Buu, Krillin, Bulma, Chichi, Goten, Trunks, Rashi, Jaco and Oolong all gathered around and held hands or shoulders with each other, while Goku held onto Shin's shoulder. Hey, where did Monaka go? He shoulder celebrate with us since he won the tournament for us. Gu commented excitedly, still clueless to Beerus' ruse. Oh, I sent Monaka-san back to his home planet on Beerus-sama behalf. Whis informed him with a mischievous smile as Beerus looked away. I can't let Naruto see I hired a weakling for my team just to motivate them to get stronger, can I? Beerus thought to himself nervously. Alright Kai Kai. Shin said. A bright light enveloped the gathered group before they teleported back to Earth. Naruto looked at his angels with a frown before a grin appeared on his face. Now, since this is strictly informal and I am here to have a good time, I think it would be best if the angels wear something less formal and more like me. I of course will change too since I believe it is summer here. Naruto declared as the angels looked wide-eyed at him. Naruto-sama, you can't be serious. We are angels and you are our creator. We have to show that to everyone. Kus insisted as even Whis looked uncomfortable at the idea of changing his clothes. I must agree, Naruto. You created these clothes for us that will never get dirty. Whis reminded him as Naruto gave him a pointed look. And now I am suggesting we change to fit with the times. Naruto said as he snapped his fingers before anyone could protest further. After a poof of smoke, Naruto and the angels now wore what could only be described as beachwear. Whis looked down at himself with some amusement while he chuckled at the outraged expressions of his sisters. Naruto, you certainly have a style for the dramatic, but is it so wise for my sisters to be so open like that? Whis chuckled as the female angels looked for once a bit embarrassed. Hey. My angels have nothing to be embarrassed about. If anything, they should be proud of what they have. Naruto exclaimed proudly as the females looked at him flatly. You're real proud. Kus said flatly, putting her hands on her hips with a cute pout. I agree, Naruto-kun. If it was just you I would not care, but mortals and even gods can be such perverts. Dressing like this will surely cause problems. Margarita admitted, seeing her sisters and her showing off a considerable amount of skin. Don't worry. If anyone tries anything, I will burn them alive with Amaterasu after I give them a warning. Naruto said protectively as Whis held a chuckle. Naruto eyes flashed red to prove his point before returning to blue. He tells us not to destroy mortals who insult him, but yet here is saying he will destroy mortals for insulting the honor of his girls. Whis noted the hypocrisy of his creator. He held back a soul though when his sisters looked at Naruto with awe and love. As much as he knew Naruto truly loved Whis and his siblings, he knew Naruto held a special spot reserved for his little girls. Still, I do not believe this is what mortals in any of the universes would consider casual wear, unless you were planning to go swimming. Vados added as Naruto just chuckled. Enough stalling. Let's go. I am sure Goku and his friends will make this interesting at the very least. Naruto said as he gestured them to grab on. Whis took his spot by grabbing Naruto's shoulder, while Vados and Margarita claimed a spot each his arms with their breasts. Kus, being the shortest, held onto his leg. Kai. Naruto said as they all teleported to where he sensed Goku and his friends Kai. Goku and his friends yelped when all of a sudden Naruto and the angels appeared behind them while they were in the Capsule Corp's dining room in West City. Hercules and Boo had returned to Hercules' mansion prior, as Boo insisted on eating after the tournament, and Hercules was in no position to deny his friend a rather simple request. Hey, did you miss us? Naruto asked with a cheeky smile as everyone turned around to see them. Naruto smirked when he gauged their reactions. Elder Kai, Wuling and Rashi were drooling and had huge nosebloods when they saw his female angels. Goten and Goku looked confused on what the big deal was. Trunks had his mouth wide open, while Vegeta was trying to calm down Bulma from yelling at the floozies, while Chichi looked at them with pure envy. The Kalo's stoic face was broken and he looked wide-eyed, while Krillin and Joko had minor blushes, trying to look as if they weren't looking, but really were. Naruto and Whis had some shorts and an open shirt, showing off Naruto's impressive muscles and tall figure, making the girls have different levels of blushing, seeing the attractive blonde's naked muscles. The big reactions came from the female angels and what Naruto chose to dress them in. Kus, being the shortest and physically the youngest, looked like a lowly dream, wearing a white bikini top and bottom tie-piece bikini. Due to her younger appearance, she appeared to have modest high B-cups breasts, which looked much smaller than her younger siblings. Margarita, being little less busty than Vados, had very big F-cups which, not being hidden by angel robes, were allowed to bounce nearly freely, drawing the guy's eyes. She wore a pin bikini top with yellow stars and incredibly small short shorts which barely covered her hips. Rashi noted her very attractive behind competing the looks. Vados on the other had a bigger bust, being a G-cup, while have a firm-looking but smaller butt by Rashi's quick estimates. Vados was wearing a white bikini top which, like Margarita, had a lot of her ample cleavage, able to nearly leak out, along with a red skirt-like piece of clothing that had a white flower on it. It covered her right thigh and had a knot, tempting it to fall unannounced. Both of the older-looking angels nearly made the guys leap with lust. And 2. After a minute of them gawking, Naruto whistled, getting everyone attention. Okay, listen up. I am here on vacation, so I don't want to announce angels are here, hence the casual clothing. Naruto started as Bulma had a sweat drop at the casual clothing comment. I don't mind you looking. It is only human nature, but if you try to touch my angels, I will crush that hand. Do it again, I will burn it off, and try a third time, I will erase you completely. Naruto warned with a dark look as everyone stepped away from him. Understood? Naruto asked with a sunny smile as everyone nodded their heads rapidly. The busty woman with blonde hair stepped up with a ditzy expression and asked, "Excuse, may I ask who you are?" Naruto smiled kindly and said, "Forgive me for the intrusion. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and these are my angels Vados, Margarita, Kus-chan and Whis." Naruto ended his introduction with a bow as the woman clapped her hands happily. "It is no problem at all. My name is Panchi and this is my husband," Panchi said, pointing to an older-looking man who smiled. To the shock of everyone except the angels, Naruto took her hand and placed a kiss on it. Pleasure to meet you, Panchi. May I say you are quite young looking and beautiful to have children and grandchildren. Naruto said in a charming way as Panchi blushed lightly as she took her hand back and placed them on her red cheeks. She had never been so openly flirted with before, and her husband was standing behind with a wide-eyed look. One young boy was not pleased at Naruto's actions and wasn't too afraid to say his mind. Hey, stop hitting on grandma. Trunks yelled as Bulma smacked his head from his rudeness. Trunks. Don't be rude, but Naruto-san, it is rather creepy to see my mother head on, so please stop it. Bulma asked politely as Trunks rubbed his head. Forgive me, Bulma. I was just a bit overwhelmed by your mother's beauty and I felt I needed to express it. Naruto said with a smirk as the angels just sighed at his charming attitude. Vegeta realized something with what Naruto said. Wait a minute, you said before that she looked too young to have grandchild and children before Trunks and Bulma said anything. Vegeta said in realization as everyone turned to an amused Naruto. Odd on huh? Quite impressive, Vegeta. You might know this, but people have a similar or at least some similarities to their family members, Kai. So, I noticed that Panchi's had similarities with Bulma's and little Trunks there, so I made a guess. I know Trunks is also your son by the way by the nature of his Kai. Naruto revealed as Vegeta looked astonished by that information. Naruto is rather forward with compliments to pretty girls. Whis added as the girls looked warily at Naruto, who frowned. Hey. I think compliments should be given and taken as a compliment. I am nothing like the pervs over there who look like they want naked pics of my angels. Naruto claimed as Rashi and Elder Kai once again looked away from the busty angels when the attention was focused on them. Kichi whispered to Bulma, wait a minute, why hasn't he made a compliment to us yet? I think we are at least the same level as your mother. As Bulma frowned. I don't want any compliments or flirting, but it is a bit insulting to be implied to less attractive than my own mother. Bulma whispered back a bit annoyed. Naruto heard them and decided to intervene. I know you are both very capable mothers and are beautiful, but I know Saiyans are rather possessive of their woman, so I thought it would be rude to do so. Naruto commented as Goku and Vegeta looked surprised. Wait, you met other Saiyans before? Goku asked excitedly as Naruto only gave a smirk but kept his mouth shut. I think we should have a cooked meal together to celebrate Naruto-sama's first day in Universe 7. Ka suggested, which was met with great enthusiasm. Of course, let me just get the cooks to get the Saiyan menu out and it should only take a bit of time. Bulma said, but to her surprise Naruto shook his head. Hey, I am the guest here and it would be rude to expect you to feed me and my guests while in your home. Let me do the cooking at least today. Naruto insisted as Bulma blinked her eyes in surprise. Are you sure? Bulma asked as Naruto gave her a grin. Bulma thought to herself, well, at least Naruto is a gentleman, not that I expect these blockheaded Saiyans to make anything edible to eat. Of course. Just point me to your kitchen and I can get cooking. Naruto said excitedly as there was a puff of smoke and what appeared to be a mountain of various food appeared on a plate, somehow staying on despite teetering on top of itself. Bulma shakily pointed to the kitchen as Naruto whistled to himself as the door magically enlarged itself to let Naruto through and shrunk back to normal size. You're in for a treat. Ka sang cheerfully as the group went into the dining room and went around a large table capable of fitting everyone. There was a seat between Margarita and Vados which they insisted was reserved for Naruto. Nobody protested except Kas, who whined she wanted to sit next to him, but she relented when Naruto's voice rang out, no arguments, okay. From the kitchen as Naruto continued to cook. Yeah, I might have told you Earth's cooking is the best, but in my existence, nothing has ever beaten Naruto's cooking. Whis added with a sigh, nearly drooling when he thought of Naruto's cooking. Beerus looked interested in the idea, while the Earthlings were also interested. Beerus decided to ask the question on everyone's mind. Whis. Is Naruto always like this? Beerus referred to his laid-back attitude, which A found odd for the being who created the angels and Xeno beings that far surpassed him in power and authority. Everyone leaned as Whis merely smiled. You mean more a father to everyone he meets rather than a boss? Whis commented as everyone reluctantly nodded their heads. When Naruto created us, he already had this kind of attitude, and when I asked why he didn't want us to lord over the universes with all powers, do you know what he said? Vados commented as everyone shook his head. He said if you are the leader of anywhere then everyone is your family, even if they do not share your blood. Kus added as everyone respect for the mysterious blonde rose. Wait. You mean the creator of everything does not care what we call him, and he would rather us treat him like family rather an authority figure? Elder Kai said skeptically but gulped when an ultra-fast tiny ball of godly Kai hovered in front of his face. It belonged to an annoyed Kus who sighed as the Kai disappeared to Elder Kai's supreme relief. Yup, but if you piss him off like Zamasu enough he might erase you. Margarita added as everyone gulped until the angels laughed. Just joking. Margarita said as everyone chuckled nervously. But if you peek on us or grope us or anyone he considers important he will crush your hand. Margarita said seriously as Rashi wept at his plans to accidentally peek on the angels while they bathed or changed. They were so holy looking with their exotic skin and perfect measurements. His inner pervert demanded he peek, but his self-instinct knew a threat when he heard one. Goku-san, it will take a few minutes longer for Naruto to finish, so you might as well bring Gohan-san and Videl-san. Naruto does like a family gathering to be fuller. Whis suggested as Goku nodded his head. Alright Whis-san. Just give me a sec to find Gohan's Kai. Goku said as he put a finger on his forehead and concentrated. He found Gohan Kai and teleported using instant transmission. Krillin was about to suggest his wife 18 and their daughter, but thought better of it. He doubted she would want to come to dinner unless she was getting paid for it when she could be at home alone with their daughter. A minute later a nervous-looking Gohan and Videl arrived with Goku as they sat next to Goku. Goku tried to explain quickly what was happening until Vegeta got annoyed at him and explained it much clearer as Gohan and Videl was nervous at the being who exceeded everyone else, especially with baby Pan. In her mother's arms. Videl gave Margarita and Vados looks of envy at their figure, especially in their swimwear, while they in return gave the mortal a look of amusement. They did spare a gentle look at Pan who was looking around and softly cooing at everyone. Us resisted the urge to scream kawaii and hug the poor baby to death. Whis just rolled his eyes as unlike his creator or sisters A never understood the need or want to look after babies. Several minutes later as the group chatted with each other or in Rashi's case kept trying to peek at the attractive angels they heard something from the kitchen. Hope you are hungry as I cooked a lot. Sorry if it's not up to par. It's been a while since I cooked for anyone else. Naruto's embarrassed voice came from the door as he walked out with several dozens plates hovering behind him in perfect fashion. Food. Goku yelled with a happy expression as Chichi glared at her husband. Goku? Don't be rude. Chichi chided as Goku looked like a hurt puppy. To everyone's surprise Naruto gave a warm chuckle as he snapped his fingers, causing the plates to hover and arrange themselves on the table. No need for formalities as I have said many times. Dinner time is time to enjoy yourselves and eat. Naruto said simply as both Saiyans raised a hand in agreement. Gohan took the opportunity to study the being above all gods and he was quite frankly rather shocked by what he saw. I remember Vegeta-san telling me Naruto-sama was different and less formal than the gods I have met before, but this is unreal. It's not so much a god more a fatherly being here. Gohan thought to himself watching Naruto smile at everyone, even as Goku and Vegeta were shoveling down food as quick as possible. Man, this stuff is great. Goku said with food in his mouth to the general disgust of all the females. Kakarot may be an idiot, but this cooking is rather amazing. Vegeta said calmly but with a look of content as he swallowed his food first. Everyone quickly agreed as they began to dig in, while Beerus was having the typho his life eating everything he could. Hey Whis. If your creator could cook like this, why have you never cooked for me before? Beerus asked as everyone turned to the angel who chuckled. Oh dear me. You think with Naruto-sama cooking for us we angels would need to learn how to cook? Whis answered with a question. Bulma had a sweat drop as she thought so basically the angels got lazy from eating Naruto's cooking, so they never bothered to cook anything for themselves. Naruto smiled seemed to confirm this theory, especially when the female angels looked close to jumping Naruto in his seat while they ate their food. Anne coughed getting Naruto's attention on her. Excuse me. Naruto-sama. My name is Pan and I am Gohan-kun's wife. Pan said timidly as Naruto looked at Gohan with a smile. Nice catch Gohan. She looks very pretty and very kind. Naruto said kindly as Videl blushed. Thank you my lord. Gohan said awkwardly while Ku's eyes narrowed for a brief moment before she continued to eat. What is you wish to ask me? Naruto asked Videl when she continued to stutter. I mean no disrespect my lord, but with all my beloved family here, I don't think there will be enough food here. Videl said softly as everyone knew she was alluding to the Saiyans' legendary appetites. Enough more than half the food was depleted and it did not look like the Saiyans or gods were slowing down at all in their eating speeds. Naruto grinned before he gave a wink. Don't worry about my dear I am well aware of Saiyans' nearly bottomless pits they called stomachs. Naruto said with a knowing smile. Before anyone could ask what he meant he waved his hand as another wave of food emerged from the kitchen as the Saiyans drilled at more food. Geez if you are the creator of well everything, I am glad to be in your presence. Krillin cheered as he flinched when Beerus gave him a suspicious look. Boy are you saying you are not happy with me being here? Beerus said dangerously as Krillin started stuttering. However, Naruto coughed and looked Beerus in the eyes. Beerus god of destruction for Universe 7. Are you threatening one of my guests in my presence? Naruto asked calmly with a look suggesting danger. Beerus and everyone could sense hidden killer intent from Kus almost as she was his agent. No of course not. I was just joking Naruto. Beerus said nervously as Naruto looked at him for a moment before laughing heartedly. Good. I like you Beerus, and I would rather be sad if I had to replace you. Naruto said with a smile as Beerus gave a sigh of relief. Everyone continued to eat while Vegeta looked at Naruto with a hard look. Vegeta-san, is there something you wish to talk to about with Naruto-sama? Whis asked as everyone turned to the Prince of Saiyans, who looked surprised to be called out. Speak freely, Vegeta. I promise you, if you have no ill intentions, I will not have ill intentions towards you. Naruto promised him, raising his hands in surrender. Naruto. How do you know so much about Saiyans? Vegeta asked seriously as everyone turned to Vegeta in shock. Vegeta, what are talking about? Goku asked his rival as Vegeta turned to him. Kakarot. Even you noticed before and asked if Naruto knew any Saiyans, but he only smirked. Just now he mentioned our appetites as if he knows one of us. Vegeta said as Naruto's smile grew bigger. Naruto, are you hiding something? Saiyans only exist in Universe 6 and 7. If you know them, you must have been in our universes at some point. Vados asked with some hurt as Naruto sighed. I guess you could say I knew them. Of course, not the current ones like Goku, Vegeta or their families. Naruto explained as the Saiyans looked at him in interest. How could you tell us, Naruto-sama? Goku asked in excitement as Naruto shrugged. As soon as you are done eating, I will show you how I knew the Saiyans. Naruto offered. This seemed to only increase the intake speed of the Saiyans, while the humans had already finished eating several minutes ago. Shortly afterwards, everyone excitedly ran outside the Capsule Corporation building to the massive yard as Naruto stood in the center watching Goku and Vegeta carefully. Alright. Several thousands of years ago, before the Saiyan race from Universe 7 took over what was their current planet, and even before planet Solanda, their former planet, the Saiyans were on an unnamed planet. Naruto began as Goku looked at Vegeta, who nodded his head. Back then, Saiyans had no concept of transformations or technology, but I will grant them they still were considered a warrior race. Naruto continued as everyone watched him intently. Naruto-sama, if I may. Whis decided to interrupt as Beerus looked surprised at him. Of course. I taught you to speak freely towards me long ago, and I don't intend to fault you for talking. Naruto said soothingly as Whis looked at him with a serious expression. If you knew about Saiyans thousands of years ago, you must have been here, but I have never once since you set foot in Universe 7, since I have served Beerus-sama millions of years ago. Whis noted with a hint of accusation in his voice. Vados and Margarita glared at him for accusing their creator of lying to them, while Naruto looked impressed. Very sharp, my dear Whis. Let's just say I was not exactly me. Naruto sighed when they gave him confused looks. It will be easier to show you here and now how I know about Saiyans from thousands of years ago. Naruto told them with a smile. Naruto then transformed as his hair turned black and spiky like Goku's and his eyes lost their bright blue, turning black, while his clothes changed to what looked like a caveman as he smirked. Surprised? Naruto said with a deeper voice as everyone's jaw dropped. What is this? Vegeta shouted as he looked at what appeared to be a Saiyan in front of him instead of the friendly blonde. This is insane. His powers are readable now but still as powerful as the Saiyans here. Beerus said in pure shock as everyone registered his words. That's right. I sent a portion of myself turning into as close to mortal as I could to the Saiyans all those years ago. They considered me an abnormal Saiyan. Naruto said as he stretched his arms. Wait. The legend. Was it about you? Vegeta said with wide eyes as Naruto gave him an amused look. Let me guess. It's something like thousands of years ago a pure-hearted Saiyan tried to defeat all the evil Saiyans with his godly powers, but failed due to running out of power. Naruto asked with amusement as Vegeta nodded dumbly. Yeah, that is what Shenron told us about the original Super Saiyan God. Goku added as Naruto raised an eyebrow. Shenron is the dragon summoned by the Earth's Dragon Balls. Whis applied helpfully. Naruto nodded and said in appreciation, thank you Whis. Whis bowed his head in thanks. That legend was wrong. Naruto revealed as Vegeta gave him a look of shock. Instead, I wanted to destroy all Saiyans back then. Naruto reveals as everyone gave him a look of shock. Wait a minute. You wanted to destroy all of the Saiyans? Bulma shouted in terror. But you are so cool and nice. Goku protested as everyone stared at the nicest deity they ever met with fear. Naruto raised a hand and said, let me continue my story. I turned a portion of myself into a Saiyan all those years ago out of boredom. This new self was essentially a true Saiyan in every way possible. I wanted to know if this race was worth letting evolve, and I will tell you I was not impressed. They seemed to lack any true kind of social skills and kept pillaging and killing their neighbors. Naruto looked annoyed at this while Vegeta gulped while Goku looked confused. Beerus thought HMPH, if the race was so bad, why did he bother to let them evolve? I decided to test them. I discovered within this new body the ability to transform to new power and wanted to see what the Saiyans would do with this knowledge. As I figured if I could do it, they would eventually be able to do it too. Naruto recalled as the Saiyan's eyes widened. You mean? Goku started as Naruto smirked. Ha! Naruto yelled as a bright yellow surrounded him for a moment. Next his heart turned golden yellow, his eyes turned green, and he was bathed in a yellow aura. Yup, I became the first of you call Super Saiyan. Naruto said proudly as everyone who was not a Saiyan or deity fell to their knees from the aura he put out. He lowered his power so everyone could walk again, but everyone still looked at him in awe. Impossible. He is mortal right now with a Super Saiyan aura, but his power right now is as powerful as mine or Kakarot Super Saiyan God or possibly Blue. Vegeta revealed in shock while Goku had stars in his eyes. After a minute of admiring Naruto's power, Gohan decided to speak. Naruto-sama, what happened when you showed those ancient Saiyans the Super Saiyan transformation? Naruto's eyes grew cold and he said coldly, instead of revering it, they craved the powers. They demanded I teach them how to do it so they could conquer the rest of the planet. This shocked the group at how barbaric they sounded, although the deities did not look overly surprised. I was so mad at this ungrateful race, one decided to erase them, but despite my hatred of them, I decided to at least do them the honor of killing them as one of them. Naruto recalled with a sigh. My anger at the race whose only value seemed to be destruction fueled my Saiyan powers even more, so they evolved into a new power again. Naruto said as he closed his eyes before a red aura surrounded him. His golden hair turned red while his aura turned red to match along with his eyes. My mortal self had awakened a version of my godly powers. Naruto remarked as his godly form made him not sensible by anyone except angels again. That is Super Saiyan God. Goten said excitedly. Yeah, but it seems to be out of this world powerful. Trunks said looking at his dad's dumbfounded look. That power is rather impressive, my lord. To think you had this power while you were but a mortal shell. Whis commented. Naruto-sama is the best. Mortal or not. Kus declared happily. Indeed, Naruto cannot be measured by any measure of power. Vados remarked. Naruto-kun, if I knew you were here in Universe 7, I would have taken you. Margarita commented with a pout as Rashi had a perverted smile at what he imagined the angel planned to do. I decided to wipe them out as warriors, so I let them call at me in droves. I planned to slaughter them all, but there was one thing that stopped me from doing so. It was child with a purity few of others possessed. That one child made me change my mind. Naruto revealed as he powered down from God mode and changed back to his mortal self-base form. You mean a single child prevented you from genocide? Chichi asked in shock while Naruto shrugged. Several children. I decided to impart a method of gaining godly powers into the children and change the memories of the others so they believed they killed the original Super Saiyan while I returned to my true self. Naruto said easily while Gohan realized. So that is the legend of the Super Saiyan God ritual. Gohan noticed as Naruto gave him a thumbs up. Yup, I decided if 6 pure-hearted Saiyans could learn to work together, they earned the right for a single one of them to gain godly powers, which judging by the powers I sense Goku and Vegeta earned it. Although it seems they acquired further powers by training with my Whis. Naruto added as Whis nodded his head. Yes, my lord. Ira-sama wanted a challenge, and Shenron-san told us about the legend. Goku-san gained godly power to fight Ira-sama, while Vegeta-san eventually gained the same powers through training with me. Whis confirmed as Naruto hummed in acceptance. I see. I am okay with 2 Saiyans here having the power of my godly power emulated inside of them. Naruto said easily as Goku looked pleased at that. Vegeta was still shocked he was standing the original Super Saiyan and the legends were wrong about his origins and motives. Just a minute. If Naruto was mortal then and he is now. Does that mean he can be killed in this state? Beerus asked as the female angels looked ready to destroy him until Naruto raised a hand. Goku-like shocked Beerus was asking such a question. That is a fair question. The answer is still no. My power may be at a point where mortals could reach, but even if you destroyed my body, I would eventually respawn and regenerate myself no matter what. Naruto clarified before adding the Super Dragon Balls could not create anything to permanently get rid of me. My head is going to explode. To think the Super Dragon Balls that are supposed to do anything cannot kill the being above all others. Bulma mumbled as she held her head in pain. The others were not doing much better as Naruto returned to being a blonde. That is so cool, Naruto-sama. It's like you are immortal through the Super Dragon Balls. Goku remarked as Naruto raised an eyebrow at the incorrect statement. That is kinda off as immortality from the Super Dragon Balls can be overwritten with another wish or through Xeno's erase powers or mine. Naruto thought but he supposed for practicality he let it slide. You look better now, Naruto-kun. Margarita told him as she held onto his arm while Vados held onto his other arm. You think so? Naruto said thoughtfully. Kus hovered and grabbed onto his spiky hair while Naruto just let his beloved angels do what they wished. Whis was in the corner with a smirk as A knew Naruto could never say no to his daughters. Yeah, blonde and blue eyes are your best look. Vados confirmed as Naruto nodded. Wait, can I see a senzu bean please? Naruto requested as Bulma nodded her head urgently. She sent a glare to Vegeta who in a rush grabbed one from her desk and rushed back. Naruto examined one and said so this lets you restore full vitality and health if you eat while not dead, correct? Yup, it has saved our butts hundreds of times. Goku said cheerfully. If they are so important, why don't they wish for like a million of them and make them so they can't be used by their foes? I guess Earthlings are either stupid or stubborn. Naruto thought with a sweat drop as he saw the small bag of them, while Bulma shouted at Goku not to eat any of them right now. After that reveal that Naruto was the origin of the Super Saiyan legend and the fact he chose not to eradicate the race over several thousand years ago, the group was once again stumped by the Enigma blonde. Naruto natural blonde hair bounced as he laughed at Ku's rather cute childish pout. He didn't look any of them up, despite having just admitting at least a part of him was in one of their universes for a time. Come on Kus-chan, don't be like that. Naruto said as Kus crossed her arms in front of her small chest as if she was a child, not the second oldest angel. Boo. Even if it was just a fragment, you still intentionally did not seek any of us out when you were around. Kus noted as Margarita and Vados took their turn glaring at the blonde who chuckled nervously. Yeah, Naruto-kun. For someone who can't visit for countless years, you seem to have made time for some savage monkeys. Vados noted with a smile, but a crushing a glass into power showed her anger. Vegeta would normally be annoyed that someone called his race, primitive or not, savage monkeys, but he was uncertain if Naruto would intervene if he annoyed the angels with a retort. Ho ho ho. Naruto is being called out. What a wondrous day this. Whis chuckled as Naruto gave him the finger as Whis chuckled. That little. He is enjoying this a bit too much. Naruto thought sourly as he sweated somewhat at the glare of his 3 female angel children. Don't pout. I didn't want you guys to seek me out at that point. It wasn't time yet. I still was in a mood. Naruto said with a sigh as the angel's eyes softened. You still haven't let that go, have you, Naruto-kun? Margarita told him softly as he frowned. I was out of control. I still should have found a better way. Naruto said sadly as Whis bowed his head. Whis. What is he talking about? Beerus asked curiously as the male angel tilted his head. Naruto is rather docile now, but in the beginning, he was rather moody and angry. Whis remarked as he whistled. He was more prone to interfering when watching. Vados added as she bit her lip nervously. Wait, this guy? He seems so cool though. Krillin blurted out as Beerus glared at the Earthling for his rude tone. Krillin winced as Gohan gave his friend a sad discreet look. It's okay. I don't mind. Naruto said simply as he raised a hand as Beerus nodded and took a step back. And to answer your question. If you live long enough you change. You don't change when you die, but if you live you eventually change. It's the nature of all sentient creatures in the universes. AN2. Naruto remarked as she stared into the sky as if remembering something. Okay. Goku decided to add in his 2 cents as Naruto chuckled. Alright, maybe you might be more familiar with this one, you either die as a hero or watch yourself become the villain. I have lived much too long to consider myself a hero or any kind. Naruto remarked as all the people from Earth widened their eyes. AN3. Are you quoting Batman? The Dark Knight? Bulma asked nervously as Naruto rubbed his head. Well, I told you I could make fragments of myself, right? Naruto asked as everyone nodded as it was part of Naruto's story of being the first Super Saiyan. Well, I have made a few of me to catch up on current Earth culture, and one of them watched the Batman movies. Naruto admitted with a nervous rubbing his head. He also chuckled as everyone sweat dropped. This guy seems to have unlimited power and he wastes hours to watch a movie. Bulma thought dryly, which was mirrored by the non-deities of the group. Naruto-kun, please get back on topic. Margarita said with a sigh as Naruto chuckled. I suppose you think there are only 12 universes in existence, right? Naruto asked as everyone besides Beerus and the angels tilted their heads. Yes. I mean there are the 12 angels, 12 gods of destruction and 12 supreme case. Vegeta asked carefully as Beerus sighed. Not quite. It's not something we like to discuss or dwell on, but there used to be 18 universes. Beerus revealed as everyone's eyes grew wide. Wait. There are 6 more universes we don't know about. Are there strong people in them? Goku asked excitedly as Gohan rubbed his head in embarrassment. Accurate. You fool. Beerus-sama just said used to. Means there are no longer 6 of them. Vegeta snapped as Goku hung his head. Oh right, Goku said in embarrassment. What happened to the 6 other universes from the original 18? Gohan asked nervously. Beerus turned to everyone with a deathly serious expression. Zeno-sama wiped them out completely because he was bored. Beerus revealed as everyone else's jaws dropped to the floor. Wipe them out, Krillin sputtered as Whis had a dark smile. Correct. Zeno-sama can wipe out complete universes in a blink of an eye at a whim. Whis said with an eye smile that looked creepy as he smirked. Gulp. He isn't planning to do that to us, right? Videl asked nervously as she held a confused pan to her chest. Zeno-sama does what he wishes when he wishes. The best anyone can hope for is that he ignores you and your universe for eternity. Beerus revealed as she crossed his arms, making everyone except Naruto and the angels gulp. Actually, you are wrong about that. Naruto said, stepping forward before Margarita and Vados grabbed his shoulders. You don't need to do this. Vado said soothingly as she looked at him with concern. Naruto gave them a small smile before he shook his head. It's okay. I need to say this. Naruto declared as his angel sighed but let him step past them. Beerus turned to Naruto with a raised eyebrow. What are you talking about? Zeno-sama does what he wishes and if he wants to, he can erase entire universe at whim. Beerus commented as Naruto nodded his head. That is true. Naruto agreed before his expression grew blank. Naruto. Whis thought sadly. Zeno is not the one who erased the other 6 universes. It was me. Naruto said with pure seriously before he looked away. What did you say? Vegeta asked shell-shocked as everyone looked at Naruto with eyes full of fear and shock. Many years ago when the first generation of God of Destructions and Supreme Case were selected and picked to be companions to each of the original 18 universes, I was there. I picked who would be used to balance out the universes, so my angels would not be the only divine beings to exist. Naruto revealed as his face was full of self-hatred. Wait. Whis told me that Zeno destroyed the other universes eons ago, before my predecessor was the previous God of Destruction. Beerus insisted as Whis shook his head. Sorry my lord. Naruto asked us to lie on his behalf, as none of the current God of Destructions or Supreme Case existed when Naruto was still around. It was much easier to explain as Zeno being a foul mood. Whis admitted as Vados and Margarita nodded to show it was the truth. And 4. Although to be clear Zeno could easily still erase the universes if he wanted. Vados warned as everyone gulped. Naruto took to hovering cross-legged as he stretched his arms. Back then humans and every species were relatively primitive but did have the capacity for evolution, so for the most part, I chose to let things be and advance in their rates. Naruto stated before he sighed. However, people and aliens in certain universes started to wonder if living under the guidance of the gods was worth it. Back then the universes knew about each other and even the angels and Zeno and I. It was much different back then. Naruto continued as everyone looked at him in full attention. Entire planets started to group together in universes with a simple thought: what if we took over the other universes by killing the other gods? Of course, I did not particularly care if they chose to think that. What I cared about was what they would do if they acted on these impulses. Naruto commented before he bit their lip. It would have been the jobs of God of Destruction and even the angels of these universes to stop these rebellious planets before they threatened the entire universes of others. Naruto stated before he gripped his fist in anger. However, the very gods of destruction and Supreme Case that Naruto selected and gave power to started to grow tired of the idea of living under Zeno and Naruto-kun's foot, so they joined the very mortals that wanted Naruto gone in rebellion. Margarita revealed with her eyes full of hatred and disappointment. You mean that they actually wanted to rebel? Goku asked incredulously as Naruto nodded his head. Yup. I loved life that started, but clearly they did not love or respect me back. Naruto admitted with a sign of bitterness. Vados looked murderous as she clenched her hand which was gripping her angel staff. My brothers who were in each of those universes were supposed to stop these mortals, and gods were convinced that despite Naruto-kun being the one who gave us life and created the universe so they could thrive. It would somehow be better if they overthrew him and the other angels who would have supported him. They gave into petty greed and lust and decided to help them start a war, not keep the peace. Vados revealed as Whis and Cus looked down while Naruto looked away with sadness in his eyes. I cherished the angels who I created to be my own children, but I didn't realize they could be tempted into creating wars that would destroy the other universes for the sake of power. Naruto said bitterly. Angels are born with vast power and knowledge, so my former brothers gave the knowledge how to create weapons that could destroy other universes if all 6 rogue universes of them grouped together. Whis revealed. They wanted to use the weapons to force the other universes to bend the knee and rebel against Zeno and Naruto. They did not realize even if we had to destroy every particle of dust in those universes who wanted to destroy everything Naruto created for us, we would destroy it all. Cus revealed coldly with a demented smile as everyone shuddered at the bubbly angel true nature reeling her evil head. Naruto patted Cus on the head as she pouted but let go of her evil smile. It would have been all-out civil war between the universes if this was to continue. Those 6 universes were willing to blow themselves up if it meant maybe getting rid of me and Zeno. They had grown demented and full of hatred of being under the guidance of anyone. Naruto recalled. So instead of a civil war that could have destroyed most of all the universes, I made a choice. If the 6 universes would rather die than follow, I would erase them all. Naruto revealed as his expression and tone grew dark and cold. Zeno power of erase is a power I granted him. I could do it too. I wanted to give them a chance, but the weapons were ready and aimed at my other universes. It was no longer a war that could be talked over. It was them or us. I chose us. Naruto admitted as his eyes grew purple as he let out a dark laugh. I erased all the mortals first from the universes who refused to submit. It was so quiet after the terrified screams of all those pathetic mortals vanished. Naruto screamed with a demented smile as the angels shook their heads as everyone looked ready to try to subdue Naruto. Then those traitors gods who spitefully told me that eventually everyone would see me as a monster. I erased them and their little weapons, leaving just my 6 sons who joined the riots and gave them the weapons to kill everyone else. Naruto shouted hatefully as he looked down while tears flowed down his face. I asked them one last time to repent and I could still forgive them. However, they admitted that my love would not be enough to change them and they would start the cycle over again, even if I sealed them away. I decided that if there was nothing to evolve or live, the universes should be gone as well. Naruto said desperately as he covered his face and started laugh crazily. I had to do it. They deserved to vanish. I don't regret it at all. Naruto claimed as his eyes flicked from purple to blue. Whis gave a nod as the 3 angels seemed to vanish and grab onto Naruto before he could react. They disappeared into thin air as Whis sighed. Forgive him. It was a reality that had to be done. Zeno-sama intended to quell the fighting himself, but Naruto took the burden of hatred onto himself and erased the 3 universes instead of allowing us angels to take the burden of a civil war. Whis justified as everyone looked wary and confused. I see. So, Naruto gave out the order and carried it out himself. For that I can respect him for that. Beerus said as everyone looked at him with surprise. You are okay with him killing countless lives, both innocent and guilty, before they had a chance to evolve or repent? Bulma asked in shock as Beerus gave her a serious frown. If I had to choose to erase 1/3 of this universe to save the remaining 2/3, I would. I don't see why you think I would not support Naruto's decision to wipe out universes that wanted to destroy everything. Beerus remarked coldly. Even after Naruto carried out the sentence and saved countless lives, it broke him, especially when truth be told he was alone for a very long time before he created the universes. Whis revealed as everyone perked up. Huh? What do you mean alone? Didn't he say A created Zeno and the angels? Beerus asked. Yes, he did, but he was originally mortal, but to save his planet and people he had to take on powers that made him immortal. He had to watch his entire planet and even his universe die out while he was still here alone for countless time. He created Zeno-sama and the Grand Priest eventually, along with the 18 angels to fill in that gap for himself and us. Whis revealed. Naruto-sen was born mortal, Gohan shouted. How old is this guy? Krillin screamed with pure confusion. Then he decided since there were 18 angels besides the Grand Priest, he would create 18 universes, one for each of us angels. Eventually a system was built to help the universes grow and prosper, and that would be the God of Destruction Supreme Kai and Angel system. Whis continued. So when the gods and mortals rose up to threaten all I had created, I got lost in grief and ended them. The remaining 12 universes had made a pact to never use that knowledge to create universe-destroying devices, and I left. My guilt over the atrocities I committed was too much. I left everything to my angels, Zeno and the Grand Priest, and did not come back for countless years. Naruto finished as he had returned with Margarita, Vados and Kus at his side. So, you destroyed universes to protect the others, huh? Goku said rather uncomfortably. Yes, and the cosmic space that was left behind allowed the other universes to prosper, but I still caused the deaths of countless lives that would not be able to grow from anything but bitter, angry beings. Naruto acknowledged. They spent the rest of the day contemplating what Naruto told them. Beerus had threatened them with Hakai energy if they told anyone else, let alone other universes, what Naruto had revealed. The next day Naruto and the group were relaxing at Capsule Corps when Naruto perked up. What's wrong, Naruto? Goku asked cheerfully as A was eating a chicken leg. I sense a distortion in the time-space continuum. Someone is traveling from an alternate time. Naruto noted as he looked around before he pointed to the distance. There. It feels like one person in a time machine. Naruto noted as he snapped his fingers and the entire group vanished. They appeared next to a crater where a time machine was partially opened, revealing a man with blue hair unconscious. Oh? Time travel is forbidden by the laws of the universe. Whis remarked in a half-joking manner. It is a violation. Beerus said thoughtfully as he stroked his chin. No destroying for the moment. I will decide if anything needs to be done. Naruto said calmly but sternly as Beerus shook his head. Hey guys. It's Trunks from the future. Goku said excitedly as he rushed forward to help Trunks out. Just as he pulled Trunks out of the cockpit and set him down, Trunks woke up. Goku was about to give a positive greeting to Trunks, but Trunks was traumatized and looked at Goku. Trunks saw Goku black in his Kai outfit, then Goku in his orange guy when he looked at him. Black. You die now. Trunks screamed as he pulled his sword out of its sheath. He swung it at the surprised Goku's neck. Before anyone could react, Goku vanished and Naruto was in his place as he placed his right index finger at his neck blocking the sword. Well. Who do we have here? Naruto said in amusement. What? Who are you? Trunks demanded as he pulled his sword back and pointed it at the amused Naruto threateningly. Stupid son. Don't point your sword like that to friends. Bulma screeched as she appeared behind Trunks and smacked him on the head. Mom? I really am in the past. Trunks said as he rubbed his head and put his sword away. To be continued. I hope you enjoyed this episode.